Apparently, Bradley Cooper spent 5 years learning how to conduct for this movie, and my God, does it show. So, Maestro is Bradley Cooper's second movie after A Star is Born, and again it is another musically based movie, this time being a sort of biopic about composer and conductor Leonard Bernstein. And if you don't know who Leonard Bernstein is, he's the guy who composed musicals like West Side Story, but also is one of the greatest American conductors of all time, conducting one of the biggest symphonies in New York at the age of 25, which is just absolutely absurd. But this movie is really interesting because rather than being all about that, and all about his accomplishments in life, it's more about his relationship with Felicia Bernstein and just the dynamic between them and how she deals with Leonard being a bisexual man and, just the way that she kind of knows about it, but like other people don't necessarily know about it, and just sort of the closetedness of it all. And I found it to be an incredibly interesting movie. I didn't really know about Leonard Bernstein before watching this movie, and I feel like I want to know all about him now. I've been listening to a podcast to learn more about Bernstein, and it's been really interesting. But what's even more interesting is his relationship, which this movie realized. And apparently it's just, this movie's been in the works for a really long time. Spielberg has wanted to produce this film for years and had the idea of it in his mind, and then apparently on the set of A Star is Born saw Cooper directing and then came up to Cooper and was like, hey, I want you to direct Maestro, or something like that, right? And that's fascinating that this movie has been in the works for so long. And was it worth it? I don't know, to be honest, because yes, this movie is really good in many individual scenes, but as a cohesive film, for me, just the first two acts never really landed, but then the third act was sort of a home run, in my opinion. Like, once you get to the cathedral scene and really onwards until the car scene, I guess I should say, that to me was the strongest part of this film. But everything after and before that, to me, just wasn't really at that level of filmmaking, and specifically at that level of writing. I mean, really, the filmmaking, the technicals, the sound, the cinematography, all of that, fantastic. This is one of the best looking and sounding films of the year. In the acting too, Cooper and Mulligan give fantastic performances in this film. I mean, really, with Bradley Cooper, what's better? His acting performance or his directing performance? I don't know, because they are both so good. But as a cohesive film, and just kind of going along the narrative, it as a whole feels kind of weak, but is supported by some of the best scenes of the year. And I feel like really every scene of this film is good, but I just don't know how well they actually fit together. It's like when you're doing a puzzle and there's two pieces that look like they fit together so well, but don't actually perfectly connect. It's kind of like that for me. Even though I felt like this movie was paced pretty well, also has a pretty short runtime, I think it should have been longer. So that way it could have fleshed out a lot more of what this film was trying to tell. And for all those reasons, I'm giving Maestro 3.5 stars. In terms of the Oscars with this film, Netflix might have another Irishman on its hands where it gets nominated for a lot, but then doesn't win anything. Because sure, Bradley Cooper could win Best Actor, but will he really beat Cillian Murphy or Jeffrey Wright or even like Paul Giamatti or something? And Carey Mulligan could win Best Actress, but will she really beat Lily Gladstone or Emma Stone? Honestly, the best shot that this film has at winning an Oscar is probably in makeup, just because it does such a great job at aging up and aging down both Bradley Cooper and Carey Mulligan. Like, seriously, they look so much younger and older than they are like in real life at points in this movie. And the prosthetic nose that Cooper was wearing, you can't tell whatsoever in this film, and he really looked a lot like Leonard Bernstein. Like, they showed a clip of Bernstein at the end of this film, and I was just looking at that and I was like, wow, he really looked like the guy, which is really cool. So yeah, I mean, maybe it could win makeup, but that's not what Netflix wants, obviously. I think Netflix thought that they really had an Oscar winner with this movie, but I don't know. I don't really see it personally, but what about all of you? Do you see this film winning more Oscars than I think it will? And what were your thoughts on this film? Let me know in the comments down below. And while you're down there, please feel free to like and subscribe. This is a very small channel, and I would love to have your support. Thank you for watching this review, and I will see you all in the next one. Take care.